Welcome back to the Nonprofit CEO Spark podcast. I'm Marcia Beckner, CEO mentor and culture strategist for social impact organizations. Today, I'm bringing you key takeaways straight from the AFP ICON Conference in San Diego, hosted by the Association of Fundraising Professionals this past April. And what stood out most to me wasn't just the 200 plus breakout sessions or the inspiring keynote speakers or the thousands of attendees. It was the growing clarity around where the nonprofit sector is heading next. I attended with a press pass and interviewed more than 24 exhibitors, sponsors, speakers, and fundraising attendees, and to really better understand what's changing in fundraising. Throughout the summer, I'll be weaving those live conversations into upcoming episodes so you can hear directly from the people building the tools, technologies, and strategies shaping the future of our sector. Because right now, nonprofit leaders are being asked to do more with less, while navigating an overwhelming wave of fundraising platforms, AI integration, staffing pressure, and constant change. And the big question underneath all of it is this: how do we become more efficient without losing the human connection that makes this work in the first place? So today, I want to start off by sharing one of the most thought-provoking ideas from a keynote session called Thriving in a Chaotic Future. The speaker was Jamais Cascio, Cascio. Sorry if I mispronounced his name. But on his business card, it is that he is a futurist, an author, and distinguished fellow of the Institute for the Future. How cool. I didn't even know that existed. And so when I hear futurist as a job title, I do get a little skeptical, as in, does this person have a crystal ball? And I decided to stay open-minded because I heard amazing things about this speaker, and I wanted to learn about a framework that he was laying out about how to handle the stressors we are faced with every day. And so stick with me. I would love your opinion after you hear this. The Institute for the Future describes the 2026 world we're living in as BANI, B-A-N-I. It's an acronym for brittle, anxious, nonlinear, and incomprehensible. And if you pause for a moment, I think that's pretty accurate when I try to process what's happening in the world. So quick descriptions. Brittle describes the systems that worked for years that are now breaking under pressure. Anxious shows up in all of us, right? You, me, our staff, our board, our donors. No one is immune to anxiety, as we're all human. And it's just now it's like the constant pressure to keep up, to respond, to adapt without having any clear answers or clear pathway. The N in BANI is nonlinear. It means cause and effect no longer feel connected. So let's say you make a strong move and the outcome you expected does not happen like it used to. Or something small might create a big ripple that you didn't anticipate. And then finally, the I in BANI is incomprehensible. And that's the moment where you're looking at AI, rapid change, society's shifting morals, and thinking, how do I even make sense of all this, let alone lead through it? Now, what matters most for you as a CEO or executive director is not just naming the environment, it's how we respond to it. And this is when Jamais, the speaker, offered a reframe that is incredibly practical and inspiring in nonprofit leadership. Let's go through BANI again in a more empowering and optimistic reframe. He said, for the B, instead of brittle, become bendable. This is how you respond by leading through these adaptive times without breaking. This might mean easing up on rigid processes that used to work and creating space for iteration instead of perfection. And then for the A, instead of anxiety or anxious, become attentive. This is where your presence matters. Your team doesn't need you to have every answer, but they do need you to feel grounded, to listen, and to notice what's really happening underneath the surface. Emotional intelligence is more important than ever, and so is self-care and taking care of yourself so that you can come to work grounded with a sense of balance. The N, instead of nonlinear, you lead with neuroflexibility. You stop expecting straight lines and start leading with curiosity. You test, you learn, you adjust. And this is especially critical in fundraising, where experimentation with clear messaging, new digital channels, and donor engagement is no longer optional. And then finally, the I, instead of incomprehensible, let's become interconnected. This is where our power is. We build relationships, we collaborate, we find a mentor, we stay connected to our peers and our team and to the broader sector as a whole, like at a conference like this. This connection becomes the human link we need to protect and prioritize. So to recap, what Bonnie can mean to us is that we empower ourselves to be bendable, attentive, neuroflexible, and interconnected. What I want you to know is this. The pressure you're feeling is not a personal failure. Let me say that again. The pressure you're feeling is not a personal failure. It is a reflection of this Bonnie environment we are leading through. So I want you to remember that. Okay, now I'm going to share something about another session that they had. It was called The Donor Shift, Finding and Engaging New Audiences. So we all know donors' expectations have shifted a lot. And one of the exhibitors at the conference was called Feather, Feathr. And they're a really great digital marketing platform that you should look into because they can help you design and execute targeted ad campaigns. And why is this important? Because I learned at this session that it takes 20 times for a donor to see your posts or your ads before taking action. Do you remember the old marketing rule of thumb that it would take someone 7 times to see your message before it actually computed and they remembered it? Well, bad news. Now it's 20 times. It's insane. It's so hard to get attention right now in the online world. So what stood out most is that acquisition is no longer a simple volume game. You can't just do more and more and more and expect the same results. What's changed, it's a relevance game. Today's donors are consuming content differently, making decisions on personal values and lived experiences, and expecting a different level of connection that feels specific to them, not generic to your mission. And there are 2 forces converging at the same time. First, donor demographics are changing. As we all know, younger generations are entering this space with different motivations and behaviors. And second, the way we reach and engage donors is quickly evolving, especially with new digital channels like AI influencing whether people can discover or connect with your cause. And the practical takeaway is this: broad messaging is losing its effectiveness. The organizations that are winning are getting sharper about who they're trying to reach and why that audience should care right now. And this is where Feather can really come in and help you. So if you want to check into them, their website is feathr.co, feathr.co. So check them out. They're a purely nonprofit platform. Okay, another session I wanted to tell you about was called AI Won't Fix Your Bias, a framework for building AI equity in the nonprofit sector. Oh my gosh, I know everybody is so interested in this. At this session, they talked about the dangers of AI bias when it comes to prospect research. AI will not remove bias on its own, and in many cases, AI will reinforce bias if leaders are not intentional. So the presenters shared that they are building an AI equity framework specifically for nonprofits, helping leaders recognize where bias can show up in donor data, outreach, and program decisions. Ethical AI requires human oversight, clear values, and accountability, purely human traits. So as a leader, you play a direct role in ensuring the tools that you adopt reflect equity, transparency, and alignment for your mission. So those were just a few of the sessions and speeches that were at the conference. Like I said in the beginning, there was over 200. So I encourage you to look into AFP ICON next year in 2027. It will be in April in Baltimore. Go to afpicon.org. Or go to afpglobal.org to look into membership at the Association of Fundraising Professionals. They're incredible education platform, networking, everything you need to succeed in today's world. And in case you missed it, I interviewed their president and CEO recently. His name is Art Taylor. Amazing man, amazing story. And so if you want to hear all about Art Taylor and the history of AFP and how you can get involved, go to my episode 25, and you can find that at culturecares.com/25. Before we go, I want to announce a new sponsor I have called Neon One. They're amazing. I want to really thank them. Neon One is the nonprofit relationship management platform that empowers small and mid-sized nonprofits like yours to make and maintain the personal connections that drive real sustainable growth. Their platform helps nonprofits build donor data, fundraising, events, volunteers, and marketing all into one place so you can make smarter decisions and build stronger relationships without overwhelming your team. If you'd like a personal introduction and a 10% discount to their platform, just reach out to me, Marcia at culturecares.com, and I'm happy to introduce you to their people. Also, I wanted to share a quick clip when I interviewed their VP of Partnerships, Tim Stahl, at the conference. This is Marcia Beckner from the Nonprofit CEO Spark podcast, and I'm so excited to be at Neon One's booth at the AFP ICON Conference because I'm a new partner with them, and I can't wait to tell you guys more about Neon One and how they help nonprofits. A minimum, or an average, I should say, of 33% increase in donations is what Neon One customers are finding. But let me first introduce you to Tim Stahl. He's the Vice President of Partnerships here at Neon One. Tim, hello.
Hi, it's so excited to be here.
Well, I want to ask you, I want to start with what's the number one problem that you solve for nonprofit organizations?
Yeah, so nonprofit organizations often come to us solving the core jobs that they need to solve, fundraising, communicating with their donor base, managing volunteers, hosting events, doing all of these jobs all with separate tools. And what happens when they do that is they don't have data that's shared, they don't have a view of who is the most involved with their organization. So when it comes to fundraising, they don't know who the go-to people are. When it comes to running an event or recruiting volunteers, they don't understand who the most involved people are. And so that's the biggest problem that we come to solve. When you don't have control of your donor information, you can't optimize your relationship with your donors.
Yeah, I could see you have some donors that go to an event and then they make a separate donation for your end of year campaign. And what if you just think that's two separate people? You have no idea that combined they've given you $1,000, whereas individually you thought they were a $500 donor. And so that's why, Neon One, is important because they consolidate this donor information so that you really have smarter insights to go by. Who's your ideal client?
Yeah, so we scale large and small, but our ideal client profile is about $125,000 to about $5 million in total annual revenue. The reason that I say $5 million, we start to hit our head a little bit, is because then the organization becomes large enough that there's a person running events, so they want their own software. There's a person running fundraising, they want their own software. But up until about $5 million, it's usually a small team. So having all of these jobs inside one piece of software is incredibly convenient. They just work in one tool all day long.
I love that. That's so important. And why are you here at the AFP ICON Conference? Who are you hoping to meet here and connect with?
So we've got a team of 7 here. Got a couple of AEs who are interested in talking to actual nonprofits themselves and helping them solve their problems. But I am the Vice President of Partnerships, so I am excitedly here to talk about the programs that I've built. I've been here since May of last year, and I'm literally the first person in the history of Neon One who has the word partner in their title. We sort of had partnerships, and it was spread out across a lot of different people. But what I've done since I've come here is identified unique areas where we can go work with professionals that provide professional services to the same ICP that we have, because what we want to do is combine world-class professional service support with our world-class software. That 1 + 1 = 3. So I'm here talking about my new consultant and agency partnership with lots of different consultants that are going to come by over the next few days.
Perfect, and I'm one of those.
You are one of those.
Well, thank you so much. I hope everybody comes by your booth, and if not, we're going to be talking about it on the podcast and Neon One and how you can learn more, get a demo. You just contact me directly, and I will send you to the right place, make it super easy, and get you a discount as well. So definitely come through me if you're interested in that demo and looking at new software. Thank you so much, Tim.
Wonderful. Thanks for having me.
As always, thank you for listening today. I really appreciate that you're taking the time to learn and grow as a leader. And always remember, you are meant for great things, and you don't have to burn out to prove it.